Welcome to episode 110 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we have so much news this week.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, of course, being the Super Bowl was yesterday.
What a game it was.
Yeah, I'll say for those of you that watch, which actually I don't know. I mean, a lot of people watch the Super Bowl, but I'm very curious what the Venn diagram is between hardcore DC AU fans who bother to listen to a podcast about it, and then also people who watch the Super Bowl.
Well, I think my favorite post that I saw about the Super Bowl last night was people talking about it like it was an episode of a TV show.
Oh, really?
And it's like, oh, there's a big episode of football on tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And like, yeah, the fans are going crazy. The fandom's going crazy today. Like, tickets for the convention were through the roof.
Yeah. I saw something that said that this Super Bowl was the Maroon 5 of Super Bowls.
Yes. For those who didn't watch it, it is historically the lowest scoring Super Bowl game in history.
Yeah, it was so boring. Nothing
Yes.
happened for 3/4. I was drinking, but not enough.
Yeah.
I was eating a lot of Velveeta cheese, though. Have you ever had Velveeta cheese?
I have had Velveeta cheese.
I mean, it's plastic, right?
Yes.
It's some sort of chemical compound.
It's a half step above spray cheese.
Yeah. Like this, yes, a half step's a good way to describe it. But my
Yeah.
God, is it delicious?
Yeah. Well,
Like-
because it's 50% butter.
That's true, actually. Yeah, it was just like Velveeta cheese with salsa and like just chunks of like ground beef and poured it over some tacos. Oh my
The
God.
level of boredom in the house I was at for this game was there was a girl in our group who was actively searching for any LA riots going on. She just wanted to be a part of a Rams riot.
I mean, it was...
And then while doing that search, it was right after halftime. While doing that search, she realized that LA wasn't upset. It was the SpongeBob fans were the most upset of anyone.
What was this thing? Because apparently there was like a petition
Yes.
to get something SpongeBob related to happen during the halftime.
Yes. So in season 1 of SpongeBob, there's the episode where Squidward is supposed to direct a band, not knowing what the performance is, and he finds out that the band is performing the halftime show of the 2001 Super Bowl.
Okay.
And it's the episode where the famous line of "His mayonnaise an instrument" comes from.
Okay. I actually don't know that line.
Oh, it's a great line. Said by the wonderful Patrick Starr. So in November, the creator of SpongeBob passed away
Yes.
from
ALS.
ALS from loss from ALS, and there was a petition started for in his honor to play that 1.5-minute long song
Oh, okay.
at the Super Bowl, "Sweet Victory."
Yeah.
It's an amazing song, great performance from SpongeBob, and it would have been. I mean, the petition had like 1.2 million people sign it.
Yeah.
And
And they could have. It was on CBS.
They could have. It's
Paramount.
Or
Or Viacom, whatever.
Viacom.
Fuck it,
So
whatever.
the thing was, if no one had said anything, fans would have been, still upset, but not as upset.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that the stadium's Twitter account and I believe Maroon 5 both tweeted, like, get ready for something special. And it was the gif of SpongeBob doing his dance from that episode.
Yeah.
And so fans were excited, like so excited.
And then they played a clip of
They
SpongeBob.
played 3 seconds of it.
Yeah.
And then transitioned it into Sicko Mode by Travis Scott.
Well, but also that whole halftime show was just this random hodgepodge of things.
Yes.
It's like it's Maroon 5 for a bit, and then they had the clip of SpongeBob, and then there was a drum line, and then there was a choir.
Yep.
And then there was Travis Scott.
Yes.
And then there was
Big Boy.
Big Boy. Yeah, it's like it just kept jumping to the new random thing.
Yeah.
Like legitimately the biggest highlight of the entire game was when Adam Levine took his shirt off because I was watching it with a room full of gay men, women, and one straight guy. Which that's the way to watch the Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it was nothing but just like sarcastic comments the entire time. And then everyone being real thirsty over the Patriots receiver, Julian Edelman, who does not look good with a beard, but my God, you take that thing off.
Pristine.
Choice.
Choice. Yeah. So since it was just, it was a month of hype
Yeah.
for this thing, and then they play 3 seconds of not even the performance.
Right. It's just
It's the lead up to it.
It was the most random thing. The whole thing was underwhelming. But
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I thought at least the Endgame TV spot was good. I liked that.
Yes.
Captain Marvel one was fine. I don't think it really did much.
I do want to say one more thing about the SpongeBob thing, and then we'll get into the trailers, because I found out about this.
Cameron,
I
had that great segue. Look at that. Look how beautifully laid out that segue was.
I know it was.
It felt
but
so.
I have to talk
it
about
felt
this.
so natural, and then we have to just jump right back.
I have to talk about this
Please,
because I've never
go
had
right
so
ahead.
much pride
Just-
in my
it's fine. It's fine.
hometown before.
It's fine.
So after the game, the fans were awry, and the Dallas Stars hockey team basically said, "Hey, we'll do it," and they did. They cut the trailer, or they cut the song, because there's like interspersed of the actual 2001 Super Bowl, and they cut it with the Dallas Stars fans, and then put like a green tint over it all, because the Dallas Stars color is green.
Yes.
And played that for their halftime show. And
That's
fans
fantastic.
went fucking crazy.
Wait, this is the Stars.
Yes, the Dallas Stars.
So the hockey team.
Yes.
So during one of the period breaks, there's no halftime in hockey.
Yes. During the 2/3 break.
Yes. I actually do know a weird.
Or maybe it was, I think it might have been the beginning of the game.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I
Because
just saw
in hockey, there's 2 period breaks. I actually do know a decent amount about sports. Like, it's kind of a facade when I say that I don't. Like, I can watch pretty much any sport and more or less know what's going on, except for basketball. What the fuck is happening in basketball?
I know basketball. I think we've been playing the character for so long.
Yeah.
Of like telling people we don't know sports because they just expect that from us.
Yeah.
We've been following the locksteps of society's expectations, Chris.
Although I do love it because the last time I went to a hockey game in person was the first time I went to a Kings game down here. I went with Jeb and some other friends from that same group. And I got to downtown early, and I just like popped to a nearby bar to like grab some food and a drink and read a book. And then I brought the book with me to the game. And so I was literally sitting at the game like with a pink copy of The Velvet Rage sticking out of my jacket.
That's fine.
And we were playing the game of like looking through the audience and trying to spot the other gays. And I'm like, why can't they all just have a literal gay book just sticking out of their jacket pocket?
Why can't they just have a literal pink card here?
I know. I'm giving out the signs.
Yeah.
No one else is bothering.
So the trailers.
I was trying to do it again.
No,
and I can't.
sorry.
It's
I have a list of all the trailers we got. Nothing really blew me away. I'll say this. So yeah, probably Avengers was the best one.
yeah. Because that's what I wanted from the Avengers trailer. Like, I just want these little brief teases. They're kind of setting up the worlds of the Avengers as it will be when we get in there. I don't want to know anything about the rest of the movie, and that's exactly what this was.
Yes.
And like, plus that shot of all of them like walking at the end to the hangar. I'm like, where are they going?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Also, who was it? So it was.
Where did they come from?
Where did they come
go? What are you doing now, Cotton Eye Joe?
Thank you for that.
Yep. So we had
Everything needs more Cotton Eye Joe.
Absolutely, it does.
Because it was Cap. So I'm trying to think of people in the lineup.
Okay.
Cap,
Widow,
Ant-Man, Falcon, Rocket. I think Thor wasn't there.
No.
I feel like there was.
I don't think Thor was in the trailer.
He was.
Oh no, yeah, because we saw him in his original suit.
No, it wasn't his original suit. I mean, he's got the cape.
Okay, that is pretty original to me.
The cape?
Yeah.
The thing he's had in every movie he's been in?
No, because it was ripped in Ragnarok.
But he had the full cape at the end of Infinity War. When he shows up in Wakanda.
I've seen Ragnarok so many times. I just
when he
still see
bifrosted to Wakanda at the end of Infinity War. He's got the full chainmail arms and the big red cape. He's back in it.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one other person walking in that lineup. I can't remember who it was.
Was it Hawkeye?
Oh, it probably was Hawkeye. Yeah.
I didn't like rewatch or analyze that.
I did. I did
I'm
watch.
trying
to
stay.
I missed it during the game. I missed it during the game. I watched it last night. So we had that, which I liked. But what else was there?
We had an Alita trailer.
Yeah.
Which the movie comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Whatever.
I'm excited. We had a Captain Marvel trailer. It's fine.
It was fine. Yeah. I mean,
I can't get any more hyped for it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
any more clips is just kind of exhausting now.
Yeah. I'm still just excited for it. It's gonna be great.
We had a Toy Story 4, which I was pretty excited for.
That was fun. Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be the story about them in a carnival. It might be like a side story, or it might just be another like kind of one-off joke for trailers. Because I feel like they're keeping this story locked up.
Yeah, I think all we know is that they go to try and track down Little Bo Peep. That's all we know.
Yes. Because we had a great tease of her earlier this week.
She looks so different, though.
She looks badass.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like she's like a solid plastic figure. So how does that work? Has she been customized?
We'll find out.
Okay, I guess so.
I had. I mean, one of the ideas I threw out was the movie is going to be about DIY versus collectibles.
Oh, that could be interesting.
So we had Toy Story 4. We had an Us commercial. We had a Wonder Park. We had kind of Game of Thrones.
I didn't
It was,
see
it
it.
was a Bud Light commercial that turned into a Game of Thrones trailer.
Fuck it.
Handmaid's Tale season 3. Twilight Zone looked pretty good. It was our
That did
first
look
teaser for
good, yeah.
Twilight.
Twilight
Hana-
Zone. Let's clarify. Let's not
Yeah,
abbreviate
sorry.
that to
Twilight
Twilight.
Zone, that's right.
Very different things.
That's right. You're right.
Rod Sterling did not work on Twilight. It'd be a lot better.
Yes. Do you remember Hana, the movie Hana?
Hannah. Yes.
Hana?
Hannah.
Yeah.
It's Hannah, right?
I mean, they spell it without the H at the end.
But you can do that.
Yes. But usually when I see that, it's pronounced Hana. It might be Hannah. It's the same word.
Yeah. I never saw the movie, though. I never saw the movie.
Neither did I. It looked interesting.
Yeah.
But there was something else that came out around that time, which was a very similar story.
Oh, yeah, I can't
And
remember
so I'm
what it
like,
was.
man, I'm not gonna watch either.
Yeah.
I'll take the least, the lesser of two evils and see neither. So that's getting an Amazon series. We got a trailer for that. And I'm leaving out one very specific one because it was the one I was most excited for.
Fucking A.
Hobbs and Shaw.
That, so I watched that full trailer.
Yeah. Oh, did we watch it? It's amazing.
It's now a full-on superhero movie.
Yes. It's the best description I saw for it is you have Batman teaming up with Batman to fight Batman.
God damn it.
And I'm like, I'm fucking sold on this.
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk about that. I need to get up and get my water. I forgot to do that, but I had to like extract myself from the couch.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep talking. We'll keep all this in as I limbo.
As you limbo around from our new setup. The Hobbs and Shaw trailer looks amazing. I mean, the core three, I'm so excited for. You have The Rock, you have Jason Statham, and you have Idris Elba as the villain. And I'm very pumped to see that.
Yeah.
Because the three of them are just so manly. It's like
Yeah.
we thought we had them all covered at this point. Like there's no more
Because that's what
big
the world
buff
needs
guys in
is
Hollywood.
more testosterone.
Yes, but now there's Idris Elba.
Like, I love Big Driss. I have a soft spot for Statham, and I will admit that the baby rescue sequence from Fast and Furious 8 was the only redeeming part of that otherwise atrocious film.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I used to like The Rock, but I feel like he's just like disappeared into his own career a little bit. But think about where this franchise started.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
Think
every night.
way back to was that 99 or 2001?
2001.
It was 2000. Okay, yeah. I can remember. Okay, so think back all the way to 2001.
Yeah.
Where that film started.
Oh, yeah.
As just a ripoff of Point Break.
And then rebooted.
That's true. Yeah.
We had the first movie twice.
That's true. Yeah. So then they did a second movie, which is basically just a rehash of the first one. But
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. 4 is a revamp of 1.
well, yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, no, it's even more crazy.
But I mean,
though,
we know it all peaked at
because
3.
it won. So you have 1, 2, and then that like they couldn't get anyone back, so they did 3.
Yep.
And then that didn't work, and they basically.
What do you mean it didn't work? It worked too well.
It did not work.
It worked so well
it didn't work.
that they couldn't even afford any of those actors after that movie.
Look at the fantastic career Lucas Black has had since
I mean,
that.
have you seen them be able to afford Bow Wow after that?
No, that's true. Who can?
Exactly. No one. That's why you haven't seen him.
But then like, they rebooted with 4, which is like so boring and mediocre. 5 is actually legitimately fun. And then 6 just goes fucking insane.
Yeah.
7 is horrible.
You mean the best one.
Horrible. 8 was also really dumb. And now like we're getting a
Hold on,
fucking
I don't.
superhero.
I need it by big finale pieces, not by numbers. So 5 was the safes.
5 was the safe.
Okay.
That's a great sequence.
It's amazing.
6 was the world's longest runway in the
tarmac,
world.
Yeah.
7. Oh no, 7 was like the street fight in LA because the real big the 2 big set pieces in that were then when they parachute out of the cars and they're like going through the mountains.
Oh, and then they drive through Dubai.
Yeah, and then they drive the car literally through the hotels in Dubai,
Yeah.
and then that's when we think the movie's gonna end. But no,
Nope.
it's another 45 minutes, and they go back to LA,
Thank
and
God.
that's when The Rock flexes and breaks his own cast, and he grabs a minigun and shoots a drone out of the sky.
Yep.
And then Vin Diesel and Jason Statham, who was a full-on villain at the time, lest we forget, he murdered tons of people.
Yeah.
They have like that street,
who hasn't,
that street
really?
rumble.
Yeah.
It's oh my god, and then that super clunky semi fourth wall breaking tribute to Paul Walker, which I thought was terrible.
Right. Great song.
Terrible.
Great song.
That's like one of the most popular songs ever on YouTube, right?
It was number one for a little bit.
Everything about this makes me sad.
Yeah. No, I don't think it ever beat Gangnam Style, because the only song that did that was Despacito. Because Despacito is now the most viewed video on YouTube.
People have terrible taste,
Right?
which is why we have this fucking Hobbs and Shaw movie.
Yeah.
It's like he's a goddamn superhero.
Yep.
It looks so like it was. Here's the thing, though.
so fucking
Here's the thing.
excited.
I was so just flummoxed by that trailer. I almost watched it a second time just to try and get a better grasp what the hell is happening, and then I realized no. Then I become part of the problem. Then I help justify the fact they keep making these things by giving that YouTube trailer yet another view. And I know already that you guys are going to drag me
Oh yeah.
to go see that movie. And I'm not going quietly. I am not going sober.
I don't expect you to. I don't think anyone's gonna see this movie sober.
Like, Cameron, you know me. I don't smoke. I might have to get really fucking high before I go see that movie.
Yeah, just be quiet.
I wonder, do you think they're going to say family a lot in this one again? Are we going to get a lot of
I don't
families
think
and
so.
familiars?
But
I
we're
mean,
gonna
that's
go-
I feel like the staple of the main franchise.
That's a Vin Diesel thing. I feel like he
Yeah.
has that, like, in his contract. Only he's allowed. Like, you're only allowed to say family when he's in
when
the
he's
franchise.
present.
Yeah.
I that does make me sad though, because that was the best part about watching 8 was the three of us literally counting how many times they
Yes.
said.
I could feel the anger from the people around us as we had spasms in our seats every time they said family.
Oh, I said it again.
And every one of us had a different number, which I thought was the best part. Is we made up families.
I think it was 15. I think was the final.
I think so, and I think I was at like 19 for some reason.
Yeah, we did a whole over under.
Yeah.
And I think we were all still under. I think none of us actually were that close.
None of us hit it. Yeah.
No, we all missed it. I don't know. I'm so upset that movie exists. It's
so
going to be
upset.
fucking terrible.
But we had other news. We had better news.
We had so that's the thing, a lot of stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of this last week, we basically had the potential for an animated Batman Beyond movie. There's even
Where
some
Will Friedle said he's totally down to be a part of it.
Yeah, but I also read that when this was still considered a real possibility, which I guess it might still be.
It still is technically a rumor. Like,
Yeah,
nothing
because
has been confirmed.
There was also leaked concept art. Did you see it?
Yes, but I don't go off of concept art at all.
But I think
Mainly because like I've seen concept art for fucking Roger Rabbit 2 and Space Jam 2, and concept art doesn't necessarily confirm a movie.
No, it does not. All it does tell us is that, I mean, it looked like it was
It's made it
officially
past,
from
like, step
Warner's
one.
animation group that it was something they were considering.
Yeah.
But I did read that they were considering casting an Asian American actor.
Okay.
Which is actually, because I've always wanted to make a Batman Beyond movie, and that was always been a cornerstone for me, was to make Terry Asian American. I always wanted that. But did you see the art?
I believe so.
I mean, it was kind of cool looking, and I think what made me not super excited about this is, one, DC is so inconsistent. We never actually know what we're going to get with them. But the other thing was, it felt like just a real obvious attempt to rip off a better franchise with Spider-Verse. It's like DC once again being like, oh shit, like we're behind the 8 ball on this. Quick, give us something. We need something. And I don't want that to be what it is.
But that means we might get the Adam West Batman come back.
I mean, he's dead.
I know, but
We're not getting Batverse.
I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
I mean,
if that was just the response.
I
Just do
would
the
be-
exact same thing with Batman.
I'd be all for it. I think it'd be highly entertaining. I just don't
Especially
think-
if we got all of every 90s Batman was their own Batman.
Oh, yeah. That could be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know. If they're gonna do this, I want them to do it right. And also, we've already had a Batman Beyond cartoon. I feel like if you're gonna give us a reason to get excited about it, it kind of has to be live action. But I mean, from your perspective, if they do that, it would have to be heavily CGI. So would you rather see it live action with a heavily CGI Gotham City or animation?
If it was animation, my only thing would be not give it to the direct-to-video team. Like, if they're making this, I want it to be a feature.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever the plan. I think it was going to be full on.
Whenever I hear animated DC, I just think it's going to them. And I don't think I told you this. I watched Reign of Superman over the weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. And you know, we've said it a million times. We're going to say it a million times more. They, you know, we're just not interested in what they're doing anymore.
No, not really. I'm way behind. I need to catch up on that stuff. We were talking about how I'm like not excited about Hush even now because it looks like it's me set in that same 52 verse sort of thing. If they do the long Halloween and they do
we did get the mullet though.
We did.
They did have the super mullet.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah,
they have that super mullet. Yeah. That's what the point otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if they did Batman Beyond and went through an actual real Warner's animation group, which they generally do pretty good stuff. Like their full theatrical team. They do all the Lego movies. So they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe, but again, I'd still rather see them do it in live action. And if they need, like, I would rather just have them shoot a lot of internationally. Like at this point, the Chinese box office is a huge part of making a film.
Yeah.
It seems like Batman Beyond's a perfect excuse to go and film a fuckload of it in China. Like go and film it in Hong Kong, Shanghai, like any of these like really modern, beautiful, gorgeous cities. I think that aesthetic would fit in perfectly. Do that.
Can the story be?
No, go do that, Cameron. Go down to the lot.
I'm going.
Knock on Mr. Warner's desk.
Excuse me, which one?
I don't know. They're both
Brother
dead.
1 or Brother 2?
I don't know. Go knock on their grave.
Excuse me, Animaniac, Wacko Yak.
I'm sure there's a big red phone sitting next to their corpses.
Give me Batman. No, the story that I want is just like completely stab at Disney. Is they're opening a new theme park in Shanghai to model after Disney World or Disneyland Shanghai. But the Jokers have gotten control of it.
I'm so on board.
Yep.
See, that would be entertaining.
My other thing is the concept art is mostly 3D.
No, it was still 2D.
Oh, maybe I saw different concept art then.
Yeah, the stuff I saw was 2D. I think one of them might be pulled because I tried looking it up again, and the other one was like him standing in front of the case of suits. But
right. Okay. Yes, I'm fine with this style. Like this is a little more stylized than like Young Justice.
Yeah. But it would probably be something in the vein of Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Like it'd probably be like a 3D, 2D sort of hybrid thing. But I mean, so that's a potential thing we got. We also got confirmation of the release date for The Batman. It's going to be dropping June 25th, 2021.
So expect it early 2022.
Right? No Batfleck.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
Like he's been one of the biggest disappointments.
Do we want to do speculation? We'll say that could be a whole podcast. A whole episode of just who we want and why.
Oh, so many options. I mean, there was talk about Jake Gyllenhaal for a little bit there, but he's Mysterio now. I don't think it's going to be him.
No.
Plus, I mean, I think they're going really young. I think they're going even younger than...
There was the name I saw thrown out this morning, which kind of caught me by surprise, was Robert Pattinson. And I'm like, that's weird.
I can kind of see it. He's built a pretty damn good career for himself, actually, post Twilight.
Oh, hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this would be the movie to just like really bring, because he's kind of stuck to the indie world.
Yeah.
You kind of have to after that. But if he did this, like, I mean, no one would forget. No one forgets Twilight.
Yeah. I could kind of see it. I
mean, yeah, we could theorize for hours.
Yeah.
Like, this could only be a whole episode of just talking who we want as the new Batman.
Why not? Yeah, there was is it Jack O'Connell? I feel like is a name I keep maybe seeing getting mentioned.
Is that again?
Is that what I was thinking of? I thought I read that somewhere. I don't know. But that wasn't the only bit of DC EU news coming out these days.
No.
Did you
something I was excited for finally?
What?
Or they got me excited.
Which one?
Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, the Birds of Prey first image in the teaser.
Yeah.
Not quite what I was expecting, but I still had fun with it. You get like little flashes of everybody in there. Harley still looks weird, and I'm still not super on board for her aesthetic, but she's away from the Joker, and it looks a little bit
For now.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit toned down. I thought was interesting is that when we saw, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, he's just his normal, handsome, and he's like smiling. He like look handsome and charming and all of his other stuff. So I'm assuming over the course of the movie is when he's going to get scarred and end up in the mask, which works. Like brief teases of Montoya and the Huntress and Black Canary. It all looks good.
I'm excited for this film.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be pretty solid. So we got that. That looked good. We got confirmation that James Gunn is gonna be directing essentially a reboot of Suicide Squad called The Suicide Squad. Because I guess that's what you do now when you're rebooting a really fresh franchise. You just add a "the" on the front, and all of a sudden it's a whole new thing. The Batman, The Suicide Squad. I mean,
Superman.
Suicide Squad was terrible. Oh god. Actually, that one does work.
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad was awful. It's not the worst DCEU movie. That's got to be Justice League.
I think that was the one that I was most excited for. That was the biggest letdown.
Yeah, because we were like, oh, it's David Ayer. He's generally done good stuff. They've hopefully learned from their lessons. DC has all these great villains. They can lean into that, something that Marvel can't do in the same way. And then it was a steaming pile of shit.
Well, and also, like, I've brought this up before. My former college professor created Diablo from the movie, and so he'd been hyping it for months on my Facebook feed and telling everyone like he's so like honored to be part of this, he's so proud of what they're making. And then I saw it and it's like, god.
The beginning was kind of fun.
I mean, Diablo's part was clearly the best part of the film. So I understand why my professor was so excited about it.
Yeah, he was really well done in it. He was the only good character in the whole thing. Like there were parts that I enjoyed. Like I liked the intro montage. They like jump from person to person and give them their own little like sequence. And I mean, it was just like a rapid fire list of good songs, but like that parts of it was fun, and then it just got terrible in the end.
Yeah.
So terrible. But I mean, why do we keep getting excited for these things though? We were just saying about how like we have high hopes for all these movies. They will inevitably let us down.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, even Aquaman was fine.
Yeah. Huh.
It's the most movie ever.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It's the movie.
Yes.
So yeah, we had those bits of news. Do you have anything else? I have one more.
No, go ahead. I don't have anything else.
Okay. I don't know if you if you read the series, but it had been teased for me for a while. I read the first 2 issues. But FX is doing a Why the Last Man series, which I'm super excited for. I hope they keep it to like a limited series. But it's a great. Have you read the comic?
I have not. I've been told many times that I should.
It's good.
Okay, I'm looking at this right now. Yeah, so it's just him.
It's the worst teaser image ever.
It's not great. So it's Yorick, right? Yorick's the character's name?
I believe so. Yeah.
Why? Him in a very unbreakable David Dunn style, like raincoat. Walking down a street littered with dead men.
Yes.
And then he's carrying a cat carrier, presumably, with the monkey.
Yeah. Do you know the synopsis of the comic?
Yes, I do, but go ahead and share for the audience.
Okay. Night passes and all of the men and all the male creatures in the world die simultaneously, except for our main character and his pet monkey. Yeah. And so it's his kind of cross-country adventure through this now female land to get to his mother, because she's some political officer.
Diane Lane plays the mom. I love Diane Lane. Oh my god, Imogen Poots? Poots is in it.
Poots?
Imogen Poots.
Imogen Poots?
She's an actress.
I know the singer, Imogen Heaps.
What is that?
You know, she did the "What You Say" song.
Sorry, continue. I don't know. Can you?
No, can't do any more than that. You know the song.
I don't know the song.
It's famous. There was a whole SNL bit around the song.
Well, that's why I don't watch SNL now, do I?
It's from years ago.
So I still don't watch it. No, this is Imogen Poots. She was in Need for Speed. Not that either of us saw that. She was in this really weird but really good movie called Filth.
Oh, she's in The Awkward Moment. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like her a lot.
Okay.
She's going to be in it. Oh, that's awesome.
How do you not know Imogen Heap? You know the song.
Imogen Heap?
Yes, HEAP.
Okay.
She also did the soundtrack to the Cursed Child Broadway show, which is great. That's all the news I have. Are we ready? Are we finally ready to talk Batman?
Yeah, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to casually stroll into Batman here. So, we got Payback.
We do.
This week.
It's fine.
As you pointed out, it's
Next
basically just lockup.
Yes.
Again, kind of.
But now with a bullwhip.
But now with that sweet laser bullwhip.
Yeah.
And because I've seen all these before, so they always vaguely come back to me. And so as I was watching it, I guessed, or I vaguely recalled the actual outcome after the red herring happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we always have to talk about a good red herring.
Oh, I mean,
how's the red herring in this for you, Cameron?
It was a little hand-fisted because I knew immediately it was the kid.
How'd you know it was the kid? Did you read like?
No, I just when he was like
When they bothered to introduce him, they like dedicated a good like 30 seconds of screen time to this child.
It was the fact that the kid was like, "Hey, let's go hang out tonight, Dad." And he's
Yeah.
like, "No, I got to work with my patients." I'm like, "Oh, it's the kid."
No, I don't like you, son.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I knew it wasn't going to be the main
The doctor,
therapist.
the therapist guy, because he just didn't look the part.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he cared enough, but I don't think that was his solution.
Yeah. All right, there's a plot.
Yeah, seeing the big guy, I knew like he's too big.
It's too obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and also the way the when he was dressed as Payback, the way the character talked was very
childish.
Yes. So my guess before even seeing the center was it was going to be it was going to be a teenager or a kid.
Another kid, yeah. So basically,
he has too much respect for Batman.
Yeah, that's part of it. So, yeah. So the opening scene is we're in some sort of store, the most weirdly decorated store ever. It's decorated like a Planet Hollywood in there with like a cab hanging from the ceiling.
I assume it's like a futuristic pawn shop.
Also, what's weird is they have cash. Like we've established in this universe.
Yes,
you have that note too?
Yes, I was like, why are there cash and gold bars?
Yeah, we established in this universe that all money transactions happen on basically like cash cards. Mm-hmm. Why is there cash in there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why are there gold bars in there?
I think those are the cash cards. Those weren't gold bars.
Oh, okay.
No, there's not like blocks of gold bullion sitting in this random retail store in the middle of trashy ass Gotham.
And I couldn't unsee it.
But it's so the boss of the store is basically telling his like high school student employee like, "Oh, you thought your shift was done, but guess what? You got overtime. Scoot on back here and keep working, son." Mm-hmm. And then Payback shows up and starts trashing the place. And he specifically is getting after the boss because he's being shit to his employees. And I guess Payback has been going on this campaign of going around town and punishing like parents or employees or anyone, teachers, anyone who's giving kids and teenagers a hard time.
Any figure of authority.
Yes. And all of the attacks are connected to this youth counseling center.
Mm-hmm. Youths.
Yeah, and so
always the youths.
Goddamn youths. It's youths. So as soon as it became clear what the whole scheme was, that someone is going after people who are abusive to their charges, like their minor charges, did you automatically go, well, clearly Bruce is going to get attacked in this episode?
Yeah.
You could just see where that was going.
Yeah.
It was pretty heavily telegraphed. Mm-hmm. But so we go to the center and we meet Howard, who is the build of Payback. Because Payback's tall. He's really tall.
Yeah.
He's like a mountain man. He's almost the size of Ace, the robot from the Royal Flush Gang.
I mean, it looks like they just took that character sheet and just
and then put like
drew a face on it.
There's some like vaguely Phantasm-esque elements because he's kind of got this like ragged hood thing happening. Do you like the design of Payback?
It's generic.
It's very generic. Yeah.
Nothing about it. Like it wasn't because like the next episode we have Shriek.
Yeah.
And Shriek's look is probably the best in this series.
Oh, I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, I think it most closely reflects the aesthetic of that Gotham.
Yes.
More so than anyone.
Like neo-futurism has a look, and I feel like the rest of these are just they're too minimal.
Yeah.
Or they're just completely off the beat.
Yeah, like Spellbinder is kind of fun with the swirling kind of pattern thing, and it fits his MO.
Yeah, especially for being a more mind-based.
Yeah, but also
villain.
it's just a bodysuit. Like there's no there's no texture or shape to it. And then Blight's also just a radioactive dude.
Yeah.
Ink is fairly
Ink's pretty good.
Ink's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, she can be whatever she wants.
Yeah, I'd say she's
Because everyone can be what they want, Chris.
No. That wasn't the lesson
Let's
I
just talk
learned.
about this for a second. It's not just Ink can be what she wants. You, the listener, you can be what you want, all right? Don't let society keep you down. Don't fall into the locksteps of society's expectations.
Tell us what you want to be. Write to us at Timm Talk Pod.
No, don't even do that.
Just go be
Because
it.
we're telling you to do that. Do what you want. If you want to write into us at Timm Talk Pod on Twitter and Instagram and Gmail, you're more than welcome to.
And if you refuse, write to Cameron.
Yeah.
And tell him that you don't want to be whatever you want to be.
I would love the messages.
But I was gonna say the Royal Flush Gang's got a good look too.
They do. Yeah.
I'd say they're number 2 for me. I'd say it's Shriek, Royal Flush.
I mean, every
Ink.
iteration of. I mean, that one's not really fair because we had Royal Flush before.
No, we didn't.
Was they created in Batman Beyond?
Well, no, we had them from the comics.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I thought you meant that we got them later again in JLU.
No. I'm just saying there was a look for them already.
Okay, that's true. They were original characters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine, I can see.
I'm talking just
You know what I want to be
Beyond.
today, Cameron?
wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah. Guess what? You are. You achieved
I
your
did.
goal.
I achieved my life goal.
Yeah.
Being wrong on the podcast. It's bound to happen eventually. But yeah, so we meet the obvious red herring. And then Terry hacks into the lead counselor there, his computer. I feel like their hacking software should avoid all references to bats.
Right?
Like it pops up on the screen in massive letters connecting to Batcave, and then it cuts
And then the
to
bat signal.
Like while it's happening, there's basically a screensaver of the bat logo, and you're like, this seems
I mean, when
really conspicuous.
in Young Justice, when Robin does it, I feel like that was his intention.
Yeah.
Because when in Young Justice, when Robin hacks, like it's a Robin chibi
Yeah.
laughing at you.
Which is great. And like
Yeah.
it shakes red until it goes green. It's fantastic.
I get that. That's intentional. This is just like a Bruce.
Yeah, it's like
They already know. No one else has this power.
how obvious do you want to be about this? But
You've got Batmail.
you've got I don't know why that got me so much.
Because it's just the right time. So Terry gets knocked out, and then goes back then he attacks the red herring.
Yeah, he
And
assumes
destroys
it's
his
Howard.
apartment.
Yeah, the guy's just an artist.
Yeah.
He's just using his laser whip to make weird, like, kind of Roald Dahl-esque statues.
It's abstract metal statues.
Yeah, they're kind of creepy.
Well, there's actually a whole art series like that actually kind of exists in that look. Because they're all over the world because it's one artist made thousands of them.
Okay.
But it's a silhouette cutout of a working person. And they're Holocaust pieces.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so he made and they were all tagged, they're all jet black metal. And the only color is their ID number.
Wow.
Is inked in. And in Dallas, there were 3 of them. They were all connected, and so when one moved, it caused the other one to move, which caused the third one to move, which caused the first one to move. So it was a perpetual motion.
Oh, okay,
device. And they're gorgeous. I've seen probably 30 or 40 of them around the U.S.
Do you know the name of the artist?
I do not.
Okay, but very curious to look that up. That sounds cool.
It reminded me a lot of those.
Oh, okay. So this guy's doing something in a similar vein, but like very colorful.
Yes.
Instead. Poor guy. He just wants to make his
I
art,
know.
and Batman has to come and trash his place, and basically just goes.
Spends all day watching over this kid,
I know.
and comes home gonna work on my art.
Place gets trashed. Batman's like, sorry,
Yeah,
and then flies
that's
off.
another thing. I'm like, you're not gonna like compensate him for anything. Like, he could sue you. He should sue you.
You should. He's too nice of a guy.
He is.
He's just such a nice guy. Yeah. So then Terry kind of learns his lesson, and Bruce gives him a lot of shit. Being like, you ran off half cocked. You should have done your research. We're gonna do it my way. And it was after the red herring reveal that I vaguely recalled that whole thing. Like, I think it's like a kid controlling a robot. Because they also showed the kid doing like a VR game.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of like a setup for that whole thing.
Well, no, it was when they said the kid was like, oh, and here's my other genius. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's the kid.
Oh, it's gotta be the kid.
It's the kid. I know
Yeah.
it's
So then then Payback shows up and he just attacks some guy driving around with his girlfriend. And I think he's like the ex-boyfriend of one of the girls in counseling.
Yes. When we first meet the counseling group, yeah, she's complaining that her boyfriend had cheated on her again.
So, but here's the weird thing.
And then that very vocal guy who's also on the bench with them.
Oh,
who
yeah.
always has to voice his opinion.
God, someone's always gonna be talking too much in group therapy.
Yeah.
You bastard. But what I
get a podcast, man.
Yeah, I know.
Your voice doesn't matter unless it's behind a microphone.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Do you have people asking you questions now about how to podcast?
No, because I don't tell people I have a podcast.
Oh, okay. Like everyone at work knows. So like a friend of mine's also starting a new podcast. They're really good. I listened to the first one, but she was like wanted to ask me questions about it. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I could talk about this for days.
Yeah. No, I get more questions on like how to market things.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I'm.
Because you do none of the marketing for the podcast.
But I know how.
You son of a bitch. Okay. So, anyways, Payback attacks the car. He basically is going to murder this guy, and also what I presume is basically an innocent girl. I don't know if she knew that he was cheating on her, on the other girl. Like she just thought she had met this cool, well, hopefully cool guy, but he attacks the car and sends it careening off a crevasse. Is that what a crevasse is?
Oh, excuse me. I don't think so.
Is that a crevasse?
It's just a cliff. Is there a difference? Just say cliff, Chris. Just say cliff.
I refuse. I refuse.
Because isn't a crevasse an indent? Doesn't that mean it goes in?
Am I thinking of a cravat?
It's a cliff. It's just a cliff.
They
drive the car off a cliff, which is caught by Batman.
Hang on. Well, okay, no, I'm still wrong. A crevasse is a deep open crack, especially in a glacier.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
This is a cliff face.
It's a crevice.
No, crevice is like your butt crack, or like an armpit.
Yes, a deep crack in ice. I think it's the. Is it not the same word?
No, it's crevice and crevasse are different words.
Okay.
Crevice is ICE. Here's where it gets ironic.
Isn't hang on, ironic?
Shit. No, a narrow opening or fissure, especially in a rock or wall. God damn it! I thought Why don't you talk for a bit?
I would love to talk. So they drive off a cliff. The Batman stays. Clearly, Batman saves them. He gets another fight. Punches up. Payback starts a fire.
The most convenient fire ever, because that laser whip can cut and it can only cut, and it never show like doing either like concussing impact either. Mm-hmm. But when it needs to start a fire, it can. Yeah, it's so dumb. Also, Batman puts out the fire by crashing the Batmobile into it. Shouldn't that thing have some fire suppressant built into it?
I was ready for the water to come down. But then I was like, no, that's too heavy for it to just always be carrying.
But like you would think he would have some sort of, because like he throws those smoke pellets. Mm-hmm. Those pellets basically just have fire retardant material in them. You would think the Batmobile could just dump that same material. Yeah. It's used in all kinds of emergency service situations. Why wouldn't I don't know.
My thing is like it's the same thing with every kind of aspiring vigilante or anti-hero is when they get in these situations, because it's almost always a fire in Batman's case, how they never try and stop the fire. Like they're never trying to plead their case of like, no, I'm still good. Like, I still want to do good for this city.
Yeah, let me help put out this fire real quick. My bad.
Yeah, because like if he would have, just kind of like hey, time out. This is like there's a fucking orphanage up there. We got to stop this fire. Yeah. I'm like Batman, like, okay, yeah, let's stop this fire. Mm-hmm. And they put out, and then he disappears, and he's like, fuck. Now I have now I have to like think about this. It's not a clear cut black and white situation where like this guy does have good in him. Yeah,
but no, they're all buttholes. He tries to murder teenagers and then he starts fires and he runs away. Yeah. And then we go back to the counseling center because Bruce is like, okay, now we're definitely doing this my way. Mm-hmm. So we're teeing up like a sting, a trap. This is also the first time I realized that all the sessions are being videotaped. Apparently, did you notice that initially?
I noticed the back screen when they went to the side room. Yeah. I didn't realize the giant screen in front of them.
I feel like that wasn't in the beginning of the episode.
I don't think we saw that angle, or maybe if we did, maybe the screen is already off.
Maybe, yeah, because as I'm watching this, I'm like, this seems like a really bad idea. Like, no one should be videotaping any sort of therapy session, even if it's a group session. Yeah. That just seems like...
my bigger thing is like, the recording's fine. The thing that is weird for me is...
Is it?
Well, the bigger thing for me is the giant screen of you talking to yourself.
That's true. You have to look at yourself. Yeah,
that would make me more intimidated.
Look at your own face as you're unveiling, like revealing very personal things.
Yeah.
When you're just like digging your trauma out of your own personal mental crevice.
Crevasse. Come on, Chris. When you're digging it out of a giant cliff. So
Yeah.
Terry goes and complains about Bruce. And then there's a grand opening of the Vreeland Hotel. Vreeland Hotel. The Crevasse Hotel. And Bruce is there to be famous.
Support his good friends. And then of course Payback shows up to take him out. And what I love is he makes some comment about like, oh, like I'm your worst nightmare. And Bruce,
you don't even know what my nightmares
you
are.
have no idea what my nightmares are like. Such a good line. God, Kevin Conroy, he's so good as old Bruce.
I was honestly more upset about because like this is the grand opening of this hotel. And whenever they broke something, I'm like, no.
Same.
It's the grand opening.
It's the grand opening. Like they chop an elevator in half.
Yeah.
They literally cut a section out one of like the load bearing
that's
walls.
fucking expensive.
And the whole thing doesn't make the whole thing come down pretty much.
I think it was just like that floor.
Okay, it's like a big
Because
section.
I was
of it,
also
though.
really worried. I'm like, no, not the whole hotel.
Well, imagine if you take a chunk out of a load bearing column in a hotel like that. How do you even repair that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the whole thing is that it's designed. It's probably, well, I don't know what building materials is going to be like in the future, but generally, like, if it's a tall thing like that, it's concrete, because concrete's, wait, I'm not sure I got this right. Yeah, concrete's good in compression, but not in tension.
Not suppression.
Not suppression. Yeah, so concrete's good in compression, so it's used, that's why, like, it's used to hold those big heavy weights. If you pull that out, the whole point is it has to be essentially one solid piece of concrete, or like sections of it stacked maybe on top of each other, but it loses its structural integrity if you have to reapply a section. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
The whole thing's got to come down now.
They got to start from scratch.
See, this is the important thing we should be talking about here. The like unrecognized collateral damage of our villains. Last week, it was taking out the entire hall of records. This week, that whole hotel's got to go.
Well, they even made a joke about that in the very beginning when he first attacks the fancy pawn shop. And the owner was like, hey, couldn't you have fought him outside?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, fuck you, man.
Dickhole that guy is.
Yeah, get the fuck. If I was Batman, I would have been like, all right, I'm out. And just like blown another hole in the wall to leave.
Peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole place comes down. We, of course, realize that it's actually the kid inside of a mech suit. And he's getting arrested. That seemed a bit much.
One, he was getting arrested and the dad wasn't going with him initially.
Yeah, the dad's like, oh,
Bruce
man.
had to convince the dad to go with the kid.
I really messed up on this one. I really should have spent more time with him. Like right now,
Yeah.
while he's getting arrested.
8. You
Also,
have time.
Maybe call a lawyer? You thought about
Maybe.
doing that?
Yeah. I feel like you're not as responsible, but a little bit responsible for this.
I mean, they're probably not going to try him as an adult. But
No.
that being said, he caused a lot of collateral damage. And there were at least 2 cases of attempted murder.
Well, more than that, because we saw a list of the attacks already done.
Yeah,
before Batman.
Yeah,
there were like 7 other cases.
So several assaults,
Yes.
like premeditated assaults, 2 attempted murders, millions of dollars, if not more, in property damage. He
just wanted to spend time with his dad, Chris.
Oh, what a noble thing.
He was doing this so his dad didn't have to work anymore.
That's true. That was his like, this is the dad's guess. The dad's like, oh, maybe he figured if he cured all of my patients,
I would have time for him.
Yeah. Also, the kid has a really weird sense of what curing means. I mean, I guess he's a child.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a genius, though.
Well, I mean, from his perspective, that's the logical sense of like, my dad doesn't have time for me because patients have problems. Solution: solve patient problems
and all of a
as
sudden,
fast as possible.
Good to go.
Yes.
He's an idiot.
He's a kid.
Yeah, but he's an idiot kid. He's a dumb kid.
He probably knows the difference between crevice and crevasse.
A crevice or a crevasse?
Yes.
Or a cravat?
Or fuck you. I'm much more excited to talk about Where's Terry.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about with
absolutely not.
Payback?
With Paycheck?
Paycheck.
the great early 2000s film with let's see, Ben Affleck and Aaron Eckhart.
Never saw it.
It was not particularly good.
I know.
I think Uma Thurman was in there too. Oh, Blank Check is great.
Blank Check is amazing.
Oh, the great Miguel Ferrer.
I don't know anyone in that movie.
Okay,
I'm
so
amazed that anyone in that movie still acts.
The bad guy, Miguel Ferrer.
Okay.
He's also the voice of Vandal Savage in Young Justice.
Oh, okay.
He's a prolific voice actor. He's in tons and tons of stuff. He was the voice of Weather Wizard in the Superman Flash crossover episode.
Nice.
Speed Demons. He was the evil vice president in Iron Man 3. He's just a bad guy in everything. Was anyone else in that movie? Anyone else noteworthy in that movie?
No one was in that movie, Chris. That movie did not do well.
I'm gonna look this up. I love that movie. As a
love
kid.
that movie
It's
too.
also crazy to think how far $1 million went back then. Because that's all he gets.
Yeah.
He gets $1 million.
And he gets a mansion.
He buys a huge mansion.
I mean, it's a down payment.
Well, no. I mean, he would have probably had to pay in cash because otherwise they would have had to give him a mortgage. You'd have to prove income.
That's true.
So I'm pretty sure it was a cash payment.
My income is I find blank checks on the ground.
But like, yeah, he
every
pays,
month or so, I get hit by a rich person. He drops me a blank check. And I just go on my way.
Who else was in Blank Check? I feel like there was one other
I don't think anyone. I don't think that movie existed, Chris.
noteworthy person. Wait, was that the same kid who was in First Kid? Is that the same actor?
I don't think so.
God,
1994.
Brian Bonsall. Oh, James Rebhorn was the dad.
Okay.
He also a very prolific character actor. You remember Independence Day? He was like the Weasley, I think, Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
He's in everything. National Treasure. Former National
He was
Treasure.
not in National Treasure.
Yeah, he totally was National Treasure. Oh, and also Miguel
I said
Ferrer.
he was not in National Treasure.
Oh, no, he was not. Actually, he may have been. Oh, Miguel Ferrer died too. So sad. Oh, and then Michael Lerner was in it. Michael Lerner is the owner of the publishing company in Elf.
Okay.
Yes. See, look at all these fantastic character actors who were in the great movie Blank Check. Also, I'm looking up the main actor. He was in a short called Slausages in 2018. He had a whole bunch of stuff in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Blank Check.
There was literally a 24-year gap.
Yeah, that's not particularly good. But he had a lot of stuff in the late 80s. He's in Family Ties.
Yeah.
Oh, he's one of the main guys, I think. Wait, then who was the actor in First Kid? You saw First Kid, right? With the Sinbad? The Sinbad vehicle, First Kid?
I think I've seen First Kid.
Where Sinbad is a Secret Service agent to the president, and he gets demoted because he jumps the wrong way during a supposed assassination attempt. And so he gets demoted to take care of the first child. Mm-hmm. Who's that actor? Brock Pierce.
Yes, Brock Pierce. I pulled him up. He was in Little Big League, Mighty Ducks.
Oh, Mighty Ducks. Legend of the Lost Tomb.
He also has not acted
TV
since
movie.
97.
Well, maybe it's for the best. 3 Wishes, Ripper Man. Oh, he played young Gordon Bombay, the Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
He played the young version of Emilio Estevez.
Okay.
Oh, should we talk about?
Should we talk about Batman?
Where's Terry?
Let's talk. Where is Terry?
Where did he
Great
go?
question.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually didn't like this episode.
I hated this episode.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say you liked it.
No.
I was gonna tell you were wrong.
No,
But it's fine, Cameron. You can be whatever you want, especially wrong.
Especially Ink. No, this episode should have been a BTOS episode. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's dangerously close to the Underdwellers. We even get the random runaway kid.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. I'll rephrase that. It should have been a new Batman episode where Bruce disappears and Nightwing has to go to the Rogues Gallery. And then he has to be because that's what I wanted.
That would have been much cooler.
That's what I wanted Bruce to do. His first step was go to his Rogues Gallery. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, but he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have the same Rolodex or Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
They're also not stashed in a centralized place because Arkham's long since closed. Mm-hmm. And also, half of them are dead. Terry kills all of them.
Exactly. I imagine this episode. We'll talk about this episode first, then I'll talk about my.
Well,
my
again, my very, very first complaint, huge complaint right from the beginning.
Has Terry took a night off?
No, I'm fine with that. He needs a night off every once in a while. No, because they get out of the movie theater, and the marquee says Casablanca. So I was automatically super excited because Casablanca, my favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
And then I went, what else did it say? So I did a rewind. I looked at it. And the fucking marquee. So it says Casablanca, and it says Bogart, and then it says Bacall. Lauren Bacall was not in Casablanca, all right? Ingrid Bergman was in Casablanca. Now, admittedly, Bogart Bacall, they were married. That's the famous pairing. They had a whole bunch of movies together. But she wasn't in that goddamn movie. What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry they hurt you so hard.
I'm still mad about this.
You should be.
Yes.
That's painful.
Yes.
That's like playing 3 seconds of SpongeBob during a Super Bowl.
Who would do such a monstrous
What
act?
monster would have the audacity to do such a thing?
No, I think what it came down to is even SpongeBob did not want to do the Super Bowl this year.
That's true.
But I was immediately upset about that. Also, was the Majestic Theater a thing? Because they get out of the Majestic Theater. Was that like where Bruce's parents were killed?
Potentially. I mean, I think it kind of changes per origin story, per retelling.
I'm looking it up.
I think there's an LA theater called the Majestic.
Well, there's also that film, The Majestic, with Jim Carrey. Never saw it.
Neither did I.
Majestic Cinemas. Oh no, that's like an actual movie theater playing the Lego Batman movie. Never mind.
Yeah, that's in LA, isn't it?
It might be. Anywho.
So they go on a date, and then Terry sees a sketchy person in the subway, follows him, and then it jumps the next morning, and he's missing.
Yeah. See, I like this setup.
Me too.
I like this setup a lot.
It's a great setup.
And I think it could work in...
If Terry wasn't in the episode.
Yeah, he has to be gone the entire thing.
Yes.
Like, I think it had to actually really focus on, like you said, it had to focus on Bruce and Max. I thought that was a cool pairing, too. They finally had to, like, work together to go off and find him. The problem was, as soon as it becomes clear that Terry's missing, they cut to him trapped under a bunch of rubble in the subway.
Yeah.
And it loses all of its mystery. Like, the whole thing should have hung on the mystery. You can sustain that mystery for, the 15-minute runtime that he wouldn't be in the episode? Maybe 12 minutes?
Like, when Bruce comes to Max's door, I was so excited.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, this is going to be so much fun. Like, they hate each other.
Well, they don't even know each other.
Yeah.
Which is part of why it makes it so good.
Well, Bruce that's his natural instinct is hate.
Yes, of course. He doesn't want to be around anybody ever.
Especially teenagers.
God, Utes!
Especially teenagers who think they know everything, which is
true.
Max.
Arrogant Utes.
Yes.
But also, why do they just look at security camera footage?
Yeah.
Like that, wouldn't that have been like the dead giveaway?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we didn't have Terry to go in and put the bat signal thing in there.
That's true. They got caught last time.
Yeah.
They had to cancel the service. Yeah, I was really looking forward to like a good Max Bruce episode, and they just didn't pay off on it.
Especially when they're walking down the street and he's like, "Go home." He says, "Make me." And then with Bruce not even looking, she like jumps back.
Yeah, just
like,
waiting for something to happen.
What did I just do?
It's like we do get kind of a fun moment of badassery, like because they go to the subway and
there's also no fighting in this episode. They're very, very,
very
little.
brief at the end. Yeah, because Terry's under a bunch of rubble and he comes across this kid named Dak.
Who's just the biggest piece of shit.
He's just like this really obnoxious runaway
God,
kid
I
who
hate
like
this kid.
he wants to be a villain. He wants to be like Blight or Spellbinder or one of those. And like you can see where the plot's going with it. It's super dumb.
Yeah.
But so we know that Terry's down there and Shriek has been hiding out in the subways, and I guess they heard Batman coming, so he just blindly sent a shockwave down the tunnel that like knocked Terry into some rubble. Which again, I mean, he gets beat up a lot by really pathetic things. Like even the last episode, guy's ass handed to him by the red herring by Howard.
Yeah.
And this one, you expect if he actually goes missing, this is the first time he's legitimately gone missing, that he didn't come back from a mission, you expect the stakes to be pretty high.
Yeah.
And they are the lowest they've ever been.
Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, it was really cool to see Shriek shoot the sonic blast because like spun around the cave.
Yeah, it like bounced around.
That was awesome.
That was kind of cool.
I wanted to see more of that because that looked so cool.
Yeah, that would have been...
They blew their budget on that.
All of it went to that. But so no one has seen Terry. So then Bruce comes to Max's looking.
Yes.
They go off together and they're in the subway and he asks her, "Oh, have you seen anything?" She's like, "No." It's like, "Then what good are you?" But then she spots Terry's backpack. Mm-hmm. It's like, "Oh, that's Terry's backpack." And so then Bruce, for whatever reason, follows the gang. So it's the Red Tees who were only in one other episode. It was the I think it was Joyride when the Joker stole the military.
Yeah, we were in there, the rival gang.
Yeah. Like this is their only other appearance. But so he follows them to their like hideout, which is just some random old abandoned building they're playing cards in. And the one kind of fun thing is he goes in and he tries to intimidate him, but it doesn't pay off. So then Max shows up and kind of tricks them into letting Bruce up. Mm-hmm. That was all kind of fun.
Yeah, to kind of see both their strengths.
Yeah, and then when Bruce
I did
knocks
just want
out.
Bruce to just beat the shit out of them.
Well,
though.
he did. He did beat the
but
crap out of all
like,
of them.
without being hit first.
Yeah. But I do love it because then there's the one guy left and they still need to know where the backpack came from. So he's like, Max, can you please step outside for a moment? And just the implication of whatever his interrogation technique is now, and it works.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because she even asks, are you sure? He's like, yes.
Yes. Believe me.
Yes, I am. But one other little detail that I noticed they don't follow through on is after Max steps outside, because she fought some of them. Mm-hmm. Her hands are shaking when she goes to grab some gum. And I thought they were going to loop back around onto that of her kind of getting a chance to get really into the thick of it and still being overwhelmed and freaked out by it. Mm-hmm. And maybe wanted to pull back a little bit. Because that's been a thing. Every time she gets really involved in the field, something goes awry.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Because she's not great in the field.
No,
We
she's
know
not. This is well established. She's terrible in the field. She like hides behind a shower curtain when Kurare's after her. So dumb. But I was just wanted to see something happen there. Like she's successful in her own way, but she had to fight. She had to get physical. And I wanted her to be upset about that. And they teased it and they didn't go anywhere with it. And I was disappointed by that.
Or Bruce maybe like comfort her or something.
Or because he wouldn't necessarily comfort her, but he would acknowledge it on some level.
Yeah, like if she tried to like grab a piece of gum and like couldn't get the wrapper open, he would like go and open it for her.
Or I would even think he would just look at it and be like, this life isn't for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Yeah,
along those
that's
lines.
a little more Bruce.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be...
He'd just slap it out of her hand.
Yeah, he wouldn't be supportive. He wouldn't be coddling, but he would kind of acknowledge her and also try to dissuade her from getting more involved.
Yeah.
Also, oh my God, it is pouring outside.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's been off and on for a while.
Has it? No, I'm just not paying attention.
I mean, not during the recording, but just today.
Oh, yeah. No, I had to move in this rain on the weekend. It was terrible. Anywho.
So they go back to the the subway.
Oh, this is a great moment, though.
I love this. Was amazing. I was so happy with this moment. And just like that, it's gone.
Oh, yeah. It's like we're in fucking Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Okay. But
yes.
what happens what was the moment, Cameron? I was teeing you up to talk about it.
Oh my God, it was so fun. So Bruce and Max. Jesus.
Nope, no, it's back.
Oh, Bruce and Max.
You guys getting live weather updates?
Yes. Go down to the kind of the bottom subway station, subway tunnel. It's under construction.
Because of the damage caused by Shriek.
Yes. And so Bruce says, I'll distract them over here. You sneak away that way.
And she's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? You trust me?
The trust is there finally. And so as she starts walking the way, Bruce goes like, hey, what's that kid doing over there in your tunnel?
Because he's asking them some questions about what the damage. He's like, oh, by the way, speaking of danger, should that young lady be going off down that tunnel? Like he's really hamming up the innocent card on this one.
He just completely threw her under the bus.
And that man can still move
so
though.
much. What?
Like as soon as they go after her, they turn around and Bruce is gone.
Oh, he knows how to work the shadows still.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah. So while all this is going on, we have that piece of shit kid.
Oh yeah.
And Terry are like pinned in a dead end tunnel.
Yeah, and he uses all of his explosives.
Yeah.
To blast away a section of wall
that's not powerful explosives because I didn't even get most of the wall.
None of it makes sense. He pulls out 6 sticks of plastic explosives.
He has explosive batarangs.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that doesn't make sense. He puts the plastic explosive on the wall, pulls out one of the exploding batarangs, which those make a big boom.
Yeah.
And then he throws that at the plastic explosive. Like, you don't have a built-in detonator?
Yeah.
What are you doing with this? And that's all of it?
Yeah.
It didn't make that big of a hole.
Exactly.
Like,
and we find out that was a dead end because there was a metal beam behind it.
Yeah, but it creates enough of a damage to open up a gap in the ceiling, a crevice of sorts.
Yes.
And
or crevasse, as some would say.
Yes, as some might say. Well, it's not a glacier, Cameron. It's not a crevasse.
Excuse me.
Get it right. So he sends...
But it wasn't a slight fracture. It was a decent hole.
That's true. It was a big old hole.
It was a cliff.
It was
a straight up cliff.
It was a ceiling cliff.
Yes.
And he sends...
As some would call it, a ceiling cliff. And he just...
Wouldn't that just be a wall? Wouldn't the ceiling cliff just be a wall?
Shut up. And so he can't fit through the hole for some reason because I guess...
Terry can.
Because I guess
that boy is so skinny.
Lost
he's broad
the strength.
shoulders, but he's skinny.
He just lost the strength in that super suit to punch through...
Yeah.
He punched through walls all the time.
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and like the ceiling's already cracked. Like he can actually get his arms up in there, and he could literally just pull.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
And it was so dumb. But so he sends Dak up there, then Dak gets captured.
Immediately.
And
he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit, and he gets like his redeeming moment because Shriek is asking him, "Where's Batman?" He's like, "Oh, he's behind that wall, which is all covered in condensation, as we learned earlier. That means the Gotham River's behind it.
That means water's there.
Water's there." So Shriek blasts it, and the whole tunnel floods, and then they all get like swept away. And then Dak is dangling from like some random piece of metal over an actual
Bottomless pit.
yes, which you often find in subways. And what I love is that when Terry just reaches for him and then he can't, the kid falls. So then Terry throws a bat rope and then dives in after him.
You have jet boots.
He can fly.
You literally flew into that scene.
Yeah, you can fly everywhere. You are constantly using your jet boots to accelerate faster than someone falling.
Yes.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It's like they try and put a little variety in there, but
all they needed was literally one extra scene where it said like low battery. If they would have put that in,
or just have him fly.
yes, I'm trying to explain what they already gave us.
Okay,
if they just had like he just looks
Actually,
at his
yeah,
thing
you're
and
right.
just like 5% battery.
Yeah, that would explain why he didn't have the strength to like tear through the wall or to that would have actually been a big improvement. Yeah, because as it is, it's just really dumb.
That's 10 seconds you have to add. You do it 3 times through the episode.
Yeah,
where he's under the rubble. He looks and it was a malfunction.
Yeah, problem solved.
And then with the explosives 5%, uses the jet boots 1%.
Yeah,
and then Shriek shows up, and then that would have added tension at the end of like, oh, I'm out of juice. I can't fight. And then Shriek's there, and then Bruce comes in and just whacks him over the head.
Yeah, he just clomps him on the noggin, and it's done. There's no fighting.
You hear that, Sonny?
It's so lame. Like you're right. There's no fight sequence, and then like that's all it takes. It's just that, and then they're able to restrain Shriek and his minion, voiced by Michael Rosenbaum, and get them out of there. No problem. It's so dumb.
Well, like I said at the beginning of talking about this would have been such a fucking good new Batman episode.
Yeah.
Where Batman is missing and Nightwing and Barbara have to go around to the villains and just be like, did you catch him? Well, like, so it sets the episode it sets up where Bruce is just going out all night. It's almost like the opening of a Nightfall.
Yeah.
Where he's just going after, like, every villain is attacking simultaneously. We had that joke before. There's the villain calendar in Arkham.
Oh,
where, like,
yeah.
everyone gets a specific day.
They have to petition for a week.
Yes, but then on the magic February 29th, everyone attacks at once.
Yes.
Every 4 years. And so Bruce is out all night being like, Poison Ivy's over here. I had to stop her. Penguin's doing this over here. I have to stop him. Joker's over here doing his thing. Croc is over here. Bane's back.
Yeah.
And they lose contact with him after one of them.
Yeah, because that's not exactly the same as the opening of the Nightfall comic, but it's a similar thing where like he has to put everyone back in Arkham and he's exhausted when Bane finally shows up and takes him out. But you're right, yeah, that would have been great if he just won't stop and then he just disappears.
Because that would have been such a funny episode. Like just imagining Nightwing going to the Iceberg Lounge, being like, "So I know, it's already like roughed up a little bit. Penguin has everyone in the like trying to clean it up to get ready for the night's crowd. He has like an ice bag where his hat's supposed to be. He's like, I don't have time for you guys right now. Like I have a big crowd coming in tonight." And he's like, where did he go after you?
Yeah. Actually, that, and the great thing is you don't even have to have Batman going after all of them. You could just show the aftermath.
Yes.
Like, how fun would that be?
That'd be so funny.
You just go from, like, crime scene to crime scene, and you just see the aftermath of the villains, and we never actually see what they did. Mm-hmm. And they, like, maybe they do, like, brief flashback recaps, and we see bits and pieces of it, but just, like, walking into the scene and seeing the damage would be so much fun.
I feel like the only recap would be Joker. It's like Joker's in Arkham, and he's like, okay, what happened? He's like, oh, well, it started on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then we made it to the Hall of Mirrors, my favorite. And then we did the teacup ride, and then he got me some cotton candy.
It'd be so
and it's
good.
like, Joker, stay on topic.
Yeah, it'd be so good.
And then we find out Riddler is the one that caught him, because it has to be Riddler.
It has to be the Riddler. Good old Riddler. Yeah, you're right. That would have been a much better episode.
Everyone they talked to, like, left a clue.
Yeah.
And that was the answer to the riddle was, like, talking to Al.
Because I feel like that
would have been such a good episode. God damn it, that's a good episode.
I feel like there have been more bad episodes this season.
Yes.
If Batman Beyond there have been good ones. And
Well, I mean, we lost Blight, and I think there's just not like, as someone who makes the artwork, there's not as many recurring villains this season.
yeah, makes a lot more work for you.
It's really rough, Chris.
I know. It's so much work. But you know, it's also interesting.
I didn't mean to come off petty. That was just my explanation of why I know there's so many villains. There's so many one-off villains.
Don't worry. I know you're not being petty. But what I think is interesting is because I love this show. I absolutely love it. I think it has one of the best concepts. But in terms of actual
Concept, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man has a great concept in the form of Spider-Man. But I think in terms of actual episodes, there are more misses than hits. And like I think we talked about that. I mean, this feels more like Superman. It's not on the same level as Superman. I mean, Superman is almost entirely misses and the occasional hit. But I mean, I think New Batman. I don't think New Batman has the best episodes, but I think it has the most good. Like in terms of quality per series, I think that's probably the highest.
Oh, I think Justice League.
Oh, of course.
I mean, season 1 Justice League.
Yeah. Sorry, of what we've watched.
Okay, yes.
But also,
I don't think there's a miss in Justice League.
But also, Justice League has the advantage of just having more sophisticated long form storytelling.
Yes.
So I'm still in the middle of rewatching Young Justice right now. I'm about like halfway through season 2.
Okay.
And as I'm watching, I'm realizing that one of the advantages that show has is long form storytelling and building, and like actually having arcs and consequences and payoffs. Like one little detail I did like in this episode of Batman was he has a rebreather now. Like, there was that one time when he was almost drowning when the suit got taken over.
Yeah.
And we were both wondering, how does that suit not have a built-in rebreather, considering how many times in the past Batman needed to have an underwater breathing system? So how did that suit not have it? So we get that idea of like, oh, sometimes they do add things based on what happens in the mission.
Because there could have been a new toy with the rebreather.
Yeah, they could have been. But that's one of the things I love about Young Justice, that it really does build off of things in a way that wasn't really happening here. This is still very much episodic storytelling, and it wasn't even Justice League initially was mostly episodic. They were just 2-part episodes. It really wasn't until the tail end of that and then into JLU when they got full on serialized storytelling.
Yeah. I mean, it was also a sign of the times though, because now we are in peak binge culture.
Yeah.
Where it makes sense. I mean, you for cartoons especially shows that are still on younger networks, younger directed networks, where you base, I mean, even look at Nickelodeon, 30 to 40% of their content, daily content, is still SpongeBob reruns.
It's crazy.
It's hard to do reruns of Young Justice because you do have to have history.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you can.
Yeah.
You might not know who Sphere is or why there's a wolf here now.
Yeah.
But you'll get over it. And with this, like, this was a show that could continue. Like, you can still play reruns of this, and
that's actually a really good point. That when this show was made, this was still the era of syndication. Which, I mean, there's still a few shows that kind of fit that bill. I feel like The Big Bang Theory was kind of one of the last like old-fashioned multicam studio comedies that was designed for syndication. You can just kind of pick up any episode wherever, and it more or less still works.
Yeah.
But you're right. Now that like we're much more in binge culture, where when you go back to rewatch something, you rewatch it serialized. You don't just go and sit down to watch TBS and see what random rerun is on anymore.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like channels need to take advantage of that idea.
Yeah,
and streaming services need to take advantage. Like, I enjoy binging The Office, but I don't like. There are times when I just want to. I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick an episode.
You want to have it chosen for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to turn on Netflix, have an option, or whatever streaming service.
And it's like the random button.
Yes, a syndication button.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, give me a random show, and that's also why like I feel like they need to recreate the lineups. Like, if we're in this stage, don't steal these ideas. Don't steal these ideas.
Cartoon.
These are all trademarked ideas by me, Cameron Dexter. Like, fans would fucking go crazy because I mean, Hulu had their advertising a while ago of like, we're bringing back or ABC Fridays. When they got Seinfeld, all their advertising was like, we're bringing back.
Well, that was NBC.
We're bringing back NBC.
So it was
lineup.
NBC Thursdays.
Okay.
was all of like their prime sitcoms. So that was I don't know how much overlap there was in these things, but we're talking Seinfeld, Friends, like Just Shoot Me, Mad About You. There's other ones that just aren't coming to my mind right now. But
maybe it was when they got Saved by the Bell. Is what I'm thinking.
Was Saved by the Bell part of because ABC had their Friday night lineup?
Yes.
There was Sabrina, Boy Meets World, My Brother's Keeper. I don't know if you remember that show at all. The only thing I remember about that show is like it's a dad and a son. It's actually very similar to Two and a Half Men, kind of, but it's a dad and a son, and then the uncle, who's like a washed-up actor, comes to live with him. And the only thing I remember about that show was they had a very special episode, as was of the time.
Yes.
Where the washed-up uncle actor failed a drug test.
Oh shit.
And it was this whole big deal, like, oh my God, you're doing drugs. Like, it's such a bad example. It's sad for the kid, blah, blah, blah. And then the twist at the end was they discovered that...
He had a poppy seed muffin?
No, it wasn't that, but it was poppy seeds. He was eating bird seed. Like, instead of, he was thought the bird seed was his cereal. Also, what was there was like, it was a genie show, too. There was like a guy had a genie.
I mean, it was the 60s. Dream of Genie.
Well, yeah, but this was in the 90s because the mom, I feel like the mom was replaced midway through, and they replaced her with the original Marsha Brady.
I don't remember this show.
Okay, whatever you were talking about, keep talking.
Yeah,
about.
what I was saying is like in this age of just like throwing nostalgia in our face, like if you recreated those Friday night lineups, fans would go fucking crazy. Where I just click a link, I just click a button, and it's like, okay, we're gonna start with this year when it was this lineup of like Boy Meets World into Sabrina into Saved by the Bell into I don't know whatever was after that, and that was just like a 2-hour block that it doesn't repeat, but like the shows kind of move in that block. So you watch a Boy Meets World episode, and then the next episode will be like 2 hours from then will be your next Boy Meets World episode.
Yeah, there was that website. I think it's down at this point, but basically had that where they would just replay old Nick stuff, and they would have some of the commercials.
I watched that all the fucking time. I'd go to sleep to that. I had that on for probably like 3 months straight, without ever closing the tab.
Okay, wait.
I was always afraid it was going away.
Okay, here we go. I'm looking it up here. Was it You Wish?
I don't know. That's a decom.
Let's see. Two of a Kind was that? Was Two of a Kind?
No.
Oh, that's Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. No.
Okay.
Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place. My God.
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Early Ryan Reynolds. You Wish, an American. So okay. You Wish was the 1990s version of I Dream of Jeannie. In this sitcom, a genie lives with the family instead of a single man. Yeah. Nathan Lawrence one of the Lawrence brothers. Visit a rug shop where they meet the owner, Madman Mustafa, good old John Rhys Davies. They buy a rug and they release a genie who has been in prison for 2,000 years. The genie's name was simply Genie.
This sounds oddly familiar.
Jerry Van Dyke was introduced in the 3rd episode as the dad, teen angel, but they totally replaced with Marsha at one point. Oh, it was a Michael Jacobs show. That makes sense.
Okay.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
So, but beyond that, what you get to plug this week, my buddy?
What did I plug? I watched a movie this week. I talked to you about it earlier, but it blew me away, and I highly, highly, highly recommend everyone go see this film. It's called They Shall Never Grow Old.
I so want to see this.
It's the Peter Jackson World War I documentary. And I'm not one to usually plug historical things like this. It's a little out of my wheelhouse. It's a good film, first off.
You're not one to plug something where you can learn.
Yeah, that's not me. But I mean, go see this movie. You don't have to see it in theaters, but just see this movie at some point.
So you got to explain what makes it so special, though.
No. It's technically a found footage movie.
No, don't phrase it that way.
Found footage documentary.
That's not how this works. Fuck it.
It's on par with.
I'm gonna tell it. I haven't seen it, but I want
Paranormal Activity.
I'm gonna describe it.
You can describe it.
So what's special about it is that in honor of the centennial of the end of World War I, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. 1918.
Yes. So Peter Jackson went through and dug up a bunch of archival
Yes,
footage.
he was approached
Archival footage is not quite the same thing.
By the main.
It's the British Museum or something like
Yes,
that, right?
yeah, by the British Museum, funded by BBC, and
Yeah.
it's like, do something with this.
So they had this tons of old footage, and so he basically brought it into Weta, and then they went through and watched through all of it.
It actually wasn't Weta; it was another company.
Was it not Weta?
It wasn't. It wasn't Weta. It's another New Zealand company.
I am shocked.
Yeah,
shocked, mildly offended. But so they went through and they like remastered the footage. They colorized it. They added sound effects and they recorded dialogue to basically mouth along to the old footage.
But there's not a lot of that because most of the dialogue are other people telling their stories.
Right. Because I think there's a whole bunch of interviews they used from like the 70s or something like that.
Yeah, because the longest part of the credits are the list of people. Interviews they use.
That's right, the interviews.
Because there's dozens of people.
Yeah, it was like another project years ago. They went and interviewed a bunch of World War I veterans. But the idea, and this is where I would hope you would take over describing things, Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Was that to make it as immersive as possible and to give an audience a sense of what it would have been like to have been there during World War I.
It focuses a lot on the trench warfare. So like living in the trenches.
Yeah.
And it's Peter Jackson. So after the movie, if you see it in theaters, I don't know if they're doing this nationwide, but the theater I saw it at, there was a 30-minute after movie where Peter Jackson was talking about the whole process of making this.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
if you're like super nerdy about
yeah,
this
that's
stuff,
gotta be interesting because I know a lot about this because of Empire podcast interview that he did not too long ago where he was talking about the process and it sounded fascinating.
Yes, it is. So his goal of this was not to show any specific perspective.
Okay.
Because the footage is from all across, the war went on for years. It's from all through the years. The stories are from everywhere down the trenches, anywhere down the line of war. So his goal was to just give you the most generic war experience you could.
Yeah.
Like the everyday man's life. And then his point was like, it didn't even have to be a British soldier. Like it could have been anyone could have been put in here. It could have been from the German side, and because it's the same story. Everyone has the same story.
Yeah.
And it's so good. The funniest part of the after movie is him talking about how it was so hard to find footage for this because back in the 19-teens, being filmed was not. They had movies back. We had silent film back then, but you never saw a camera.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so for a lot of the soldiers, it was their first time seeing a video camera. And so when you watch the film, you notice a lot of them are just staring at you because they don't know what's going on. And so you can almost see the moment where the person behind the camera is like, no, go do your job. Like, go do what you're supposed to do. I'm not supposed to film you staring at me.
Yeah.
And so it's them like shoveling something on the side while still staring at the camera at the
Am I
same
doing
time.
it right?
Yeah.
Am I doing it now?
Or them like, making jokes in front of the camera. Or like there's one guy that literally says, "Hey, Mom." And I'm like, oh my God, he started it. He was the first one to do it.
He was the first, "Hey, Mom."
Yeah. I'm on the big screen now, Mom.
Yeah.
And it's it's a revolutionary film.
Yeah, I really want to see it. It sounds because it just had like a very short Fathom release.
Yeah,
in
it had
the
like
US.
a 2-day.
Yeah, and I
release.
missed both of them. I was like bummed, and then I saw that it got an expansion, and so I really need to go see that because I'm super excited about it. Mm-hmm. Good on you, Cameron.
It's gonna change how documentaries are made, I think.
Yeah, but will it change things for the better or worse? Because we do know how much everyone loves to do a pale imitation.
I don't.
So if you're not Peter Jackson, you're not putting in the same sort of effort, or you don't have the same access to the materials.
Yeah, that was the other funny thing is Peter Jackson's a huge World War I nerd.
Yeah,
and so a lot of the stuff he was talking about, like getting the sound effects right. And they're like, oh yeah, we have this footage of like the cannon blast going on, and I just happen to have that same cannon in my storage, and so we pulled that out. We shot that a few times, and I'm like, only fucking Peter Jackson would own the cannon.
Let's grab a mic and go shoot the cannon.
Yeah. And there was one other small story because I want to tell the after story part because I don't think a lot of people are going to have the access to that. The last part they were talking about the end credit song. They didn't want there's a very light score.
Okay.
The whole thing, but they still wanted you to feel immersed through the credits. So they sing a World War I song, but they didn't plan this until the last 48 hours before the movie was due. And so they found the song they wanted to sing, but they wanted authentic British singers, and they didn't have time to go to a studio or send it to someone.
Yeah.
And so they call the British Embassy of New Zealand and be like, "Hey, send us your 4 best singers."
That's amazing.
And so it's literally it's the ambassadors of Britain are singing the British war chant.
That's fantastic.
For the end of the movie. And it's that's so cool.
It's so British.
Mm-hmm. And they show footage of them in the set.
Yeah.
On set recording that. And everyone just looks so happy.
I bet. That's the coolest random call to get.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's such a good film.
Bunch of singing bureaucrats.
Mm-hmm. I would watch this film again. It's so good.
I'll let you know. Well, let's go see it because I really want to go see it.
Yeah. What do you have to plug?
I also went and saw a documentary this weekend.
You did?
I went and saw Free Solo.
Ooh.
Which is not
shaking.
about the fact that Disney is basically having to give away copies of the movie Solo because it's so terrible.
Yes.
It is, in fact, about this guy, Alex. I can't remember his last name. Yes, Alex Trebek and his
Jr.
fantastic mustache.
Mm-hmm.
No, this guy,
Alex.
Alex.
He uses to climb. What you don't see behind the scenes is actually he just ties the mustache to rocks.
That's true.
And just hangs there.
He repels from his mustache.
Yeah.
It's Alex. It's not Alex Holland because I think that's the name of this Swamp Thing guy. But he was the first guy to free solo. Alex Honnold.
Okay.
The first person to free solo climb El Capitan in Yosemite.
Not the theater.
Not the El Capitan Theater.
When
Los Angeles.
When the movie first was being talked about, the YouTube clips where he was being interviewed on late nights. So he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and the headline was Jimmy Kimmel interviews man who climbs El Capitan.
Yeah,
which is right next.
It's
for
next
people who
to
don't
it.
know LA landscape. El Cap is right. The El Cap Theater is right next to Jimmy Fallon's recording studio.
Jimmy Kimmel's
recording studio. Sorry, and I'm like, holy shit! Someone climbed the theater.
Scaled El Cap.
Yeah. And then they're like, it's this mountain. I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, no, this is the mountain El Cap.
Yes.
And so what's kind of special about this documentary is the crew that went with him on this. They're all really experienced climbers themselves. And so some of the footage in this movie is unbelievable. I mean, talk about placing the camera in a place you would never have seen it before. Mm-hmm. And it's a really interesting story. He's an interesting guy. His dad passed away when he was pretty young, but his dad had Asperger's, and you get the sense that Alex himself is somewhere on the spectrum just because he's pretty emotionally distant.
Okay.
And that helps him process the reality of what he does because he's a renowned, worldwide renowned free climber and free solo climber, and he's holding on to the side of this mountain literally by sometimes just a tiny sliver of his fingers.
Yeah.
And if you slip, you're done. Mm-hmm. And it's just interesting, the people around him trying to process it. Even the film crew themselves, they've known this guy for years. They're his friend, and them having to figure out how they can be okay with kind of encouraging him to do this, supporting him in this effort that no one has ever done before, and has a very high chance of him not surviving. I mean,
yeah, because it was a 4-hour climb into 4.5-hour climb in total.
Yeah, I think it was just under 4 hours, just under 5 hours, and it's 2,000 something feet. And you have to go up and down, and they focus on specific spots, which are very technical, very hard to do. It's just a really interesting story, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The photography in it, it's breathtaking. So, and it's nominated for best documentary. So highly recommend going to check it out. It's really good.
While watching one of the interviews, the moment that kind of changed the way I saw rock climbing and especially solo climbing is he was talking to I assume it was still Kimmel. He was talking to Kimmel, and Kimmel's like, well, how do you do that? How do you just go and climb? And he's like, well, that's what people don't understand. It's I can close my eyes and see every handhold still.
Yeah.
I stared at that map, the topographic map for weeks, months.
Yeah.
And I can tell you exactly the angle I'm going at, what I'm grabbing onto, where my 3 points of contact are. He can still see every single step he took, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
To get up there.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about it being a thing he had wanted
Like,
to
you
do for
rehearse
years.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and he practices over and over and
Yeah.
over again. It's it's really, really good.
Yeah, I think people, especially, I mean, me, I think what I misunderstood was like when I hear free climb, I'm thinking they're doing this for the first time. Like,
Oh,
no,
no.
they've been practicing years for that. Like, he said he'd climb the mountain, dozens upon dozens of times already.
Yeah, even the season leading up to it, he just camped out there for months and just kept practicing. But yeah, it's good. Go watch it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, but I think that does it for us. So if you want to reach out to us, if you want to tell us what you want to be when you grow up,
I want to be your lover.
but you got to get with my friend. Make it last forever.
Friendship never ends.
This friendship never ends, Cameron.
That's right.
That's not true. It ends
The
whenever we
second
record the
we enter-
podcast,
yeah,
and then we don't talk to each other for a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find us at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. I am at Lordifer on Twitter and Instagram.
If you want to see my art, you can find that at Cameron.Dexter. If you want to see my face, I'll update it at some point. You can find that at
You'll update your face?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Are you going to like...
Just a little cut and tear here and there.
Oh, okay.
Cut and tweak.
Yeah. Like just like puncture the cheekbones, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to get like gauges, the high cheek gauges.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Oh yeah.
Looks so good on you.
I feel like it's really gonna like accentuate the features of
Yeah.
my face.
I mean, your whole thing is being like young and fresh, so
Yeah.
you got to maintain that.
Gotta be fresh.
Yeah.
You can find that. You can find my future face holes
Future fixed face.
at CamDexter_adventures.
Yeah, and thank you as always for listening. I'm off to go wedge myself in a crevasse.
Yeah, and I'm gonna jump off a cliff.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.